Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
They brought me out to read the script in a room where all this Star Wars stuff was happening around me, and there was a life-size Ahsoka figure just standing over me with a lightsaber. And I was like, how am I supposed to concentrate?
Hello, it's Colonel Roy Campbell here from Metal Gear Solid, also known as Paul Eiding. Welcome to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
The podcast that made you realize that Skynet already exists, no matter how many times you delete that post. So our guest today is a man of many talents, whether on camera, on stage, or breathing life into characters as a voice actor behind a microphone. Paul Eiding has been providing us with awesome entertainment for years. Welcome to the Paul.
Hi.
I am so glad this is being recorded. Welcome to the show, Paul.
I'm happy to be here, whatever this is. The pulse of the show. I'm happy to be.
Yeah, go ahead and leave that whole part in because that's actually kind of funny. Welcome to the Paul Show. Yeah, welcome to the show, Paul. I'll get it right sooner or later.
You think we're professionals?
Hey,
no,
we're all in
not.
this together. Right?
We are so not. So, Paul, a couple of your more recognizable characters are, of course, are Max Tennyson in Ben 10, Colonel Roy Campbell in Metal Gear Solid, Perceptor in Transformers movie. One of my personal favorites is Reflux and Incredibles 2. Not just because I have acid reflux, but what our listeners may not know is that you sang, played bass, and directed in the 3rd Infantry Division Glee Club while you were stationed in Germany. If I'm having all that, if I have all that information correct, so I have to ask you, how much of your military experience influenced how you voiced Colonel Campbell, and what's the best show that you guys put on while you were directing the Glee Club?
Oh, wow. I don't know how it influenced Colonel Campbell because I was only a sergeant, so I never made Colonel, but I was the director of the group, and we had to play the military game. We had to look and sound really straight up military, tough guys. But a lot of our guys were either had been actors that were drafted or singers that had been drafted. And some crazy ones like myself who joined and were musicians or whatever. But this is during a real rough time for, we were at war.
Okay.
And it was up to me to make sure the guys not only knew their music, because I taught music as well, sang well, played the military game, because how do I put this nicely? They could have been rotated out of the group and sent to Vietnam.
Sure.
So it was tough. So, but as far as the voice, not really. My time in the military and the Glee Club, it's interesting you bring up the Glee Club because just last week I got contacted by a young man who is doing he's putting together a video for the guy who was the director of the group before I got in. I got in as a singer and a bass player. And within 6 months, as a young man, I don't even think I was 20 yet. I ended up becoming the director of the group. But the man who preceded me was a professional actor. He got out of the service, went back and played, he was on Broadway, did several shows from Hair to Hello, Dolly. And he's also the man who gave me my name. My real name is not Paul.
Okay.
Dumping out some real information here. I don't think this is on any interview, but I'm coming clean.
All right. We love it. Getting spoilers.
My real name is Otis Errol Eiding. Too many vowels for a young man, a young boy. And I never really was crazy about my name. When I auditioned for the Glee Club, the gentleman who was directing, his name was Chapman Roberts. Chapman said, "Don't tell me names. I'm guessing names today. You look like a Paul." And I said, "Cool. Yeah, okay. I'm down."
One less vowel. Let's go.
And that's exactly how I became Paul. And being around other actors and musicians pretty much influenced me to become an actor. Because I started playing with guys who were really, really musically, instrumentally much better than I was. And another actor by the name of John Hancock, that was actually his name, John Hancock, was a very large African-American gentleman who was in the original cast of Roots and did a lot of TV shows. We would go and do performances. We'd come back, and after a performance, you can't go to bed. You're still high from the
so true.
Yeah. So we would improv, and then we would read plays. And I remember the night we read Zoo Story, which is a 2-character play. And John, who was a very large man who spoke like that, played one character. I played the other. And after we were finished, he said, "Paul, this is what you should be doing. You're an actor." It's like, oh. So I got out, and I still played for a while, but basically, it's because of my time in the military that I made the thrust to become an actor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's awesome.
So thanks for asking.
Yeah, that is such a cool story. Like,
I love stories. That's awesome.
So you mentioned that was how you got into acting. So did you give up playing at that point, or do you still play bass?
I still played. The last time I played, our kids went to a small, very small little school that we helped build. Mm-hmm. And we had what they called the Dad's Band. So for fundraisers, the dads would get together. We had a couple of guys who were really fine guitarists, and I played bass. We had guys who would play drums and keyboards. So we would perform that sort of thing. I still have my ukuleles. I fiddle around with, but I don't play the bass anymore.
My husband plays electric bass, and that was one of the questions. He's like, "I need to know if he still plays."
No, I keep threatening, but I started playing with guys. I played with a guy by the name of Phil Upchurch. Phil Upchurch was a rhythm and blues and jazz guitarist. Played with George Benson. He's got probably 25 albums. And Phil was very kind to me. I've seen him really destroy guys, drummers and whatnot, who just weren't up to snuff. Because this dude was really top-notch pro. And he was very kind. He never gave me a hard time. But that's when I realized, when I was playing with people like that, I realized that I was trained classically. I can read charts. I was trained upright bass. Mm-hmm. And then moved to electric. But I never really had the ears for jazz. I just couldn't hear the changes coming. Mm-hmm. Write them out and I'm there. But I just didn't hear the changes. R&B, I'm okay with rock, but no, I'd embarrass myself. And there are too many other really wonderful players out there. So I'll be an actor.
There you go.
That's a good option. I mean,
for that guy having to play with George Benson, he would have had to have kept up. George Benson is no slouch with a guitar.
Well, there are a couple of albums. If you look, you'll see George Benson's albums. You'll see Phil's name on it more than George's.
Okay.
Because he also did some of the arrangements. George would also do a song of his, and he'd play rhythm, and also he'd play bass.
Wow.
Philip Upchurch. He's really aces.
Excellent.
Oh, what was the other question? It was a two-parter.
I'd asked if you still played, but do you have any favorite pieces or favorite composers?
Oh, wow.
And I mean, being trained classically, then there's so many more composers that you know.
Yeah, there are too many to choose from. My gosh.
I agree.
Although I was in the car, I was complaining to my daughter that I was in the car, and I was on the Sirius XM. I went to the classical station, and all day long they were playing Mahler. And I can take Mahler up certainly at the time, but then it's like, Uncle, give me a break.
Right. Something else.
of course, this is old school, but Miles Davis, and
There's nothing wrong with Miles Davis.
it's like a friend of mine did a documentary. They did one on PBS, a great documentary about Miles Davis, and I listened to the voice of the guy who was doing Miles's voice. I said, I know this voice, but it's the man who was our best man at our wedding, an actor by the name of Carl Lumley.
Oh, cool.
Who's also a great actor, and I didn't know he did it until I saw the credits, and I contacted him and said, "Dude, that was a great Miles." It's like, all he does is just makes his voice really, kind of very raspy. Anyway, I'm rambling.
No, that's totally fine. We like rambling. Rambling is good.
Rambling stories, and I've said this before in other interviews, typically I'm the one who's doing the rambling. So it's always really nice to hear it from somebody else, because usually when it comes from somebody else, it actually has some details or some level of information that's entertaining. So, no, well done on you for having some informational rambling. So,
Cool.
I have actually seen that PBS documentary about Miles Davis, and that was amazing. It was very well done.
Very. Blew me away. Yeah, and Carl, he's also a wonderful actor. Did you guys see Winter Soldier?
Yes.
The series?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the dude who played the black dude who
The
had
old
been
super soldier?
Yeah, that's Carl.
Really?
Oh.
That's Carl, and he's the guy who did the voice of Miles.
Oh, amazing.
And he's been around.
Right.
Actually, Carl Lumley was the first African American to play a superhero. He played on Fox when Fox was new. He played on network TV. He played Mantis.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't last very long. It wasn't a great show, but Carl's always good.
No, that's not the point. That's more interesting that he was Mantis. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in the day.
So, looking through your list of voices, I was hit with massive amounts of nostalgia of a lot of shows that I had enjoyed that, provided me with such adventure and wonder, such as Adventures in Dinosaur City, where you played the voice of the king, Vern from Treasure Planet. You did a variety of voices in an episode of Darkwing Duck, Pirates of Dark Water. You also did Abigail's father in Once Upon a Time, Dr. Enzyme.
Abigail! Abigail! Glad you stopped climbing trees.
Right? Dr. Enzyme and SWAT Cats. And so, when you were young, what were some of your inspirations of adventure and wonder that kind of helped you go towards being a voice actor?
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I was raised on Looney Tunes,
Sure.
all the Chuck Jones stuff. Dawes Butler blew me away. When I first moved out here and started doing things at Hanna-Barbera, when I got to sit in the room with Dawes Butler and all these folks that I listened to, and Paul Winchell, who was who was he? Winnie the Pooh, Tigger.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
When I was very young, I was listening to these guys, and when I came out here and got the chance to work at Hanna-Barbera with these monsters, it's like, number one, I was in awe. Number two, it was I got to really, raise my game here. I'm working with my heroes. So Dawes Butler, who could do anything, and in his mid to late 70s, I think it was mid 70s, he was still doing Elroy from the Jetsons. It's like, how do you do that? So they were the guys. Those are the ones that really blew me away. And the voiceover stuff, I never thought about being. To be straight up honest with you, I never thought about being a voice actor. I'm an actor. For me, it was all stage. I started out on stage in Ohio, and then on to Minnesota, doing theater and doing musicals and all that kind of thing. And so the voiceover thing, it wasn't something that I thought about when I was younger. I guess I was always doing silly voices. I don't remember, but it wasn't like, oh, this is what I want to do with my life. When I was a young person, all I knew was that I had no idea what I wanted to do, for sure. Music was number one in my as I got older. But the big thing was I knew I couldn't work a 9-to-5 job, whatever it was. I knew I couldn't do the same thing every day. It just wasn't who I was as a human being. My brother, my family, cool. And God bless anybody who can do it. For me, I just, I knew I just couldn't handle that. I would go crazy. So when I did have a straight job for a short time after the military, I look back on it now, and I was acting all the time I was there doing this straight job. I was acting like someone who was doing that job. Does that make any sense at all?
It totally does. I know that feeling.
Okay, yeah.
I know that feeling so much.
Yeah, it's not who I am, but I can play that role for a limited time.
Yeah. I put on my costume at the beginning of the day. I go to work. I come home. The costume is gone. I am no longer the person who works in an office. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I came out to the LA after doing theater for 10 years, well, I did stuff in Ohio, music, and then theater we called, it was community theater, nothing for pay. Moved to Minnesota, did improv for a couple of years, like Second City Improv or UCB, and loved it, making $100 a week. Writing material, performing, cleaning the bathrooms, washing the floors, selling tickets, all that stuff. And then started doing theater, did that for 10 years, did some voiceover work there to supplement your $100 a week, and doing commercials. I did a lot of commercials, both on camera and voiceover. And I guess that's when the voiceover stuff seemed like, oh, this is a viable way of making a living. So it wasn't until I moved out here and I got the voiceover. I really hooked up with voiceover here because of a play I did. I did a play called Cloud 9, where I played an African manservant with no makeup, the intentional, a Cockney soldier, and a 5-year-old girl. The most unattractive child ever in the history of man. And someone from Hanna-Barbera, Gordon Hunt, who was the casting director, saw the show and thought he saw something in me. That's some versatility. Called me in for a general audition. And then I started booking things. And that's when everything really started hitting. And I realized that, hey, you can make a living with just your voice.
Right.
And I have a good face for voiceover work.
So Paul, just
joke.
Random question for you that just kind of popped in my head. Did you have a beard then when you did this play?
No.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say that would be an even worse 5-year-old daughter, child, little girl.
Oh,
but
I had married young. Yeah.
That's like a picture of this little girl, full on beard,
Oh, goodness.
All right. Well, anywho, so one of the things that I noticed in your, as I was looking over your IMDb list, which I'm always impressed by with you voice actors, is the amount of stuff that you guys get connected with and the opportunities that you have to be involved in different universes that people get to act in. But one of the things I noticed is that you've been fortunate to have several recurring roles that you voice over and have done for an extended period of time. whether it's Pa Kent and the Superman animated series, The Death of Supermans, and those things. Of course, Max Tennyson and all the Ben 10 stuff. The Colonel Campbell and Metal Gear. Exactly, I see it. Yeah, the shirt. Yeah, Max's shirt. I saw that. I was going to ask if that's what that was. If it looked like it.
Yeah, I did a con in New Zealand, and the cosplay folks came to me and said, "If we made you a Ben 10 shirt, would you wear it while you're signing for the kids?" And I said, "Duh, absolutely." Cool. So they made that for me, and the reason it's there is because when we're done here, I've got to do a couple of cameos, and one for a young man who it's his birthday in a few days, and they wanted a shout out from Grandpa Max.
Oh, how cool!
And then I've got to do one. I also have to do one from Colonel Campbell. So I think back there is also. So I always wear the beret for Colonel
Campbell. I see the beret back there. Yeah.
Okay. So cool.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been very lucky that way.
Yeah. So what does it mean to you personally and professionally to be included in these projects over the years? Were there repeat projects?
Oh my gosh. Chance to develop a character, to let it grow, to see where it goes. I absolutely loved doing Ben 10. We had a great cast.
Yeah.
All of the casts, because we did several incarnations. Just great people to work with, the producers and the writers. And to be able to play a character over an extended period of time, it's like just like doing episodic TV.
Right.
You get a chance to do that, and they develop your character, and they did with Grandpa Max. So God, I love that. Even when I did the GoBots, but no, which were like the knockoff from the Transformers.
I had GoBots toys growing up.
I was Scorp.
Oh, okay.
It was a sidekick of the bad guy.
Yeah.
It was a very cool toy, by the way. Went from a scorpion into an airplane. Not a nice guy, but cool.
Exactly.
And so anytime you get a chance to do something for an extended period of time. And Pa Kent, I'm really happy about, hey, I'm Superman's dad.
Absolutely. Why not? Yeah. One of the things I was talking to my son earlier today, and I was telling him that we were going to be talking with you, and he's like, what does Paul Eiding do? And I said, well, yeah, well, and I said, and the thing that I didn't even think to tell him that you were Max Tennyson in Ben 10, because growing up he was a huge Ben 10 fan. I mean, like we had the action figures, and he had had Ben 10 shirts and the whole 9 yards. Cool. So I forgot to tell him that you were in Ben 10. I was like, oh yeah, he was in Metal Gear Solid as Colonel Campbell. He's like, oh okay, yeah, I know who that is, because he's played all the games, and he thought they were really cool. And, but yeah, I forgot to tell him that. I'll have to tell him later. So.
And it was fun for me going through your IMDb and being like, oh, I know that character, and I know that character, and I know that character. And then I got to your video game characters, and I'm like, oh, I killed that one, and that one, and that one. I'm like, I need to apologize to him for the number of his characters I've killed.
I hear that a lot.
A little bit of a killing spree. Sorry about that.
Well, I mean, like, especially when I got to like your Skyrim chunk, and I'm like, he's Gelmar Stone. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen any of the Skyrim? What are they? The prank calls?
No.
Oh, you got to go to YouTube. And it's called Septimus. I think it's Septimus Prank Calls. And what they do is take Septimus Cygnus, who is, do you know the Elder Scrolls? It's just a book. I'm the Toy. I remember the lines, but what they did was they put them in a sampler, and whoever's doing it is really good, and they call libraries. And
oh no!
Library. No. And my voice comes on and says, "You know the
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And they says,
That's
what?
genius.
And he says, "Yeah, exactly."
Oh my word.
And again, and when they say, no, we don't, and my voice comes out and says, my master told me that, whatever. And then he says, no, I'm sorry, we don't. And then he says, what is it? And my voice comes and says, it's just a book. It's like, oh, okay. And somebody did the same thing with, oh God, what is it? With Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I'm the good morning, Vault-Tec calling.
Nice.
And they called businesses. And the guy says, hello. And he says, good morning, Vault-Tec calling. He said, okay, what can I do for you? He said, oh, I'm not selling anything, sir. This is all about you. And it goes
Oh no.
yeah, they do it, and they call back again and again. Finally, you hear this guy say, please stop calling.
Well, I know what rabbit hole I'll be going down
Yes,
on YouTube after this.
that is
Yeah.
going to happen. Oh my word. So
Go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
I'm
Well,
gonna go into my next
somebody
question,
else-
but you've got more. You've got more
Well, they
stories.
did. There's also on YouTube this whole thing, a series of what they've done is they've taken Colonel Campbell, and I think what they've done, and these are long, like 25-minute pieces, several of them, and they've put him in situations and changed the words. It's all my words, and it's called Paul Eiding is Being a Dick.
No. No. Oh goodness.
And you gotta laugh. I just love them. Anybody who takes that, but number one, they've got too much time on their hands.
Right.
But they're hilarious.
But my world has been made so much better by people who have too much time on their hands. I applaud them. I applaud them.
Yeah.
So, in looking through your IMDb, you appeared in an episode of Star Trek Next Generation. You've done a fair amount of voice work for Star Trek and Star Wars video games, in addition to being Perceptor on Transformers. So in all of those franchises, there tends to be a lot of technobabble.
Oh.
So how were you able to make some of that dialogue flow so easily? Was there anything earlier in your stage and screen work that made it easier?
Two things. Practice. No, actually, I got four things. Practice. And the fourth thing was I started out when I was in Minneapolis. One of the guys who worked at the theater, it was the Improv Theater. It's called the Brave New. It was called Dudley Riggs Brave New Workshop.
Okay.
Dudley Riggs was his actual name. He just passed away a couple of months ago. Dudley had been a trapeze artist. He was a catcher, and then got hurt and became a clown. He was a clown with the circus for many years, and then ran away from the circus and started a coffee house / improv place. Well, one of the guys who worked there, for his straight job, he was a writer. He wrote for 3M and for a company called Control Data. I don't even know if they're still around, but a computer company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so to make extra money, we would audition and get hired to do technical readings for them. So there was a lot of that kind of technical babble that I had to get through. Words that I never understood. So that helped. But other than that, it's just practice. You know, going over it, trying to understand what you're saying. And if it's not on the page, making it up in your head so it does make sense to you.
Okay.
Even if it's not the real thing, as long as it makes sense to you, hopefully it'll make sense to someone else. So that's basically it.
So fake it till you make it.
That is my new motto for life.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if it makes sense to you, it'll make sense to somebody else.
Please, God. Now, my time on Star Trek, the Next Generation, I didn't have to worry about that on that one. That one was all about pleasure and eating chocolate and having fun. So that was a breeze.
Easy peasy, yeah.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love Pirates of Dark Water. I don't know how much involvement you had, but it looked like you had a lot of involvement as additional voices, and that's one I would love to see like a reboot of. Like, how involved were you with that show?
I don't know why they call it additional voices. They were basically guest stars. I did several episodes. I don't remember how many, but the thing that I remember about Pirates of Dark Water was the cast, the actors. I mean, you had some serious acting chops in that animated series.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who but I remember then. It's like these are all big name actors. I don't mean like Rock Hudson or Paul Newman, but I mean these are really
There's some big names in there.
Yeah, substantial actors. I'm trying to. I should have pulled up my IMDb.
I mean, you've got Hector Alonso and Tim Curry, Peter Cullen, Jim Cummings. Those are some big names.
Yeah, I think Alan Oppenheimer was involved in that one too. I'm not sure, but I mean, it was, and it was some serious stuff too. It wasn't like silly. It wasn't Yogi Bear.
Right.
There was more.
Right.
There was more to it. It was an intelligent show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun to do. That's wish I could give you more.
Oh, that's
I
all
can
right.
make stuff up if you like.
Well, that works too. But no, that's a cool show to be involved with for sure. Moving on to Incredibles 2, though, I got to ask you a question about that. So, Incredible 2, your character says the name's Reflux, medical condition or superpower, you decide. And I love that the writers made a character with acid reflux a superhero, which just kind of makes me laugh because I have never seen my acid reflux as a superpower yet. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. But it also must make me think that there are other everyday conditions that could be turned into a superpower. So if you think about it, what's an everyday condition that you think would make a great tier 2 hero like Reflux?
Oh, well. I've done a few of them. Sneezing.
Okay.
And I did that in I played Nozone in the Toxic Crusaders.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And my power, Nozone's power. Okay, I got to make a funny face because that's the only way I can do it. Nozone talks like this because Nozone was a test pilot who flew through a hole in the ozone and crashed into a vat of radioactive pepper. It could happen. And he became fused with one leg was part of his airplane wheel, and his superpower was sneezing. And so I had to do all that, and I can't do it now because I'll spit all over my screen. And I'm not kidding you. We had to wipe off my script regularly. We are we are hideously deformed creatures of superhuman size and strength. We had to say that twice. It had to be said twice in every episode.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So there's that one. And then there's, what's the guy in Mystery Men? His superpower was how do I put this nicely? Excreting air from.
Flatulence Man.
Flatulence Man, yeah, right.
I think it's. I'm sure that's not the right name, but
you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So there's sneezing and
They call him the spleen. That's what it was.
I was just getting to it.
Yeah, well done. And when I auditioned right here in my booth for Incredibles 2. And when I did the audition, name's Reflux, medical condition or superpower. You be the judge. When I did that, they also wanted me to do the and then vomit.
Ugh.
And I did it several times. And I came out of the booth, I had my door shut and everything, came out of the booth, and my wife said, "Are you okay? Everything okay?" And I had to reassure that, no, baby, it was just an audition. It's okay. Everything's fine. I hadn't even thought about it.
That's some serious acting, though. If you had her convinced that there was something wrong, that's impressive.
It was just very funny.
Oh, that's great.
Goodness. So there haven't been any great movies made based on video games yet. Metal Gear seems like it could be the one. Like, that would be good. I feel like that could actually hypothetically work as a live action movie. And some people on the internet have speculated that Bryan Cranston could pull off the role of Colonel Campbell. Do you think that could work, or is that a role that you'd actually like for yourself?
Oh, I would never get cast. Listen, between me and Bryan Cranston, I think I'd go with Bryan Cranston. I mean, the guy, number one, I hate that son of a gun because I love everything he does.
I know!
He hasn't failed me yet. I mean,
No, he's highly talented.
I would watch it in a heartbeat. It would be nice if they threw somebody who was in the original a bone, either a voiceover, something, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Some type of homage. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've spoken several times online through Twitter with Vote Roberts, who is so crazy about doing it. He knows the game so well.
Mm-hmm.
I just worry that they keep waiting so long. I actually think, how should I put this? They better do it, and it can't be just one movie.
Right.
I mean, what part of it do you pick?
No, that could be a massive series of movies.
Yeah.
Look, if Fast and Furious can get 9 movies, you guys should be at least 2.
Good point. And someone said, what they should have done is simultaneously or right now start doing an animated just to whet people's appetites.
Sure.
Metal Gear. It would have to be done really well and classy and everything. And if they did anything like that, I might have a chance to do a voice in it.
That would be cool.
Actually, a CGI version of Metal Gear could take off very well.
Yeah.
I mean, with today's technology, the ability to properly do CGI, the way that we've seen it done in the last few years, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. But I think that Sony, they're afraid, or whoever's going to make it, they're afraid that it would dilute. I think they're absolutely wrong, but that's just one man's opinion. And what the heck do I know? Yeah, but that's the game still has such an incredible following.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm amazed of the cameos that I do. Probably 2/3 are Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool.
Very respectable fan base. And they just, it's still there, Anyway.
No, I
love the game.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely understood.
So we have a Facebook page with over 130,000 followers, and basically it is just filled with memes. And it's memes of this thing crossed with this thing, and that's what creates the funny. So what 2 characters from either a show you did or a video game that you've done would you like to see brought together to become their own game or show?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Now I'm thinking funny here as opposed to serious. Well, it's got to be Nozone in something.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah, Nozone and Campbell, I think would be fun. Nozone and two Perceptor, and Perceptor might be two on the nose, so to speak.
I was thinking Nozone and Reflux together as a
Ooh.
dynamic duo.
Ooh,
The medical men.
or a
Right?
two-headed, or a two-headed hero.
Right.
Ooh.
That could be kind of fun with them together.
I can
One can't eat spicy tacos, the other one sneezes all the time.
Right. Oh, wait. The Nozone, I was going to say, and then the tacos could come out of his nose. Because the Nozone Toy, that's another cool thing. When you have a toy, when you're a toy, it's like, yeah, baby, I'm a toy. But what the Nozone Toy came with green goop. And there was a hole in the back of his head, and you could squeeze the goop, and the stuff would come out of Nozone's nose.
Oh, wow.
I have classy toys.
You have the type of toys that I would want to play with. Let's put it that way.
The type of toys that my mom would look at and be like, no.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Or I am 12 and immensely amused by boogers and fart jokes. So,
Duh, isn't everybody?
Duh.
I have a soon-to-be 3-year-old. Farts are just hilarious at this point.
pretty much.
Always have been.
No, exactly.
Oh yeah, they just get better now.
Exactly.
My grandmother.
Tell my wife that, but yeah, still.
My grandmother, when if somebody cut one, she would run to the kitchen. This is my grandmother. She was in her late 70s. She would run to the kitchen and grab a knife and go up behind somebody and say, I said, what's going on? She said, well, I'm trying to stab it before it smells. No, I'm trying to kill it before it spreads. That's what it is.
Oh, nice.
It's like, Grandma.
Here I was thinking she was going to say something about she was cutting the cheese now or something. But okay.
No.
No, she's gonna kill it before it spreads.
Kill it before it spreads.
I like that.
Love it. Oh goodness.
Oh, all right, Paul. We're at a point in our show where we like to play a little quiz game with our guests.
Oh God.
It's a 5-question quiz. All the questions are multiple choice. Okay, so we'll give you a fighting chance here. Now, this is a quiz based on the wonderful works of a man named Paul Eiding. So, congratulations. You've made it to a quiz. Now, if you get, out of the 5 questions, if you get 3 of them correct, we want to send you one of these handy-dandy I gave to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans coffee mugs. Okay? Cool. If you get 4 questions correct, we're going to send you that coffee mug along with this book called Custodians of the Cosmos, written by our page founder, Drayton Allen. It's all about a young man who wanted to join Starfleet. He washed out, so instead he rejoined as a custodian, and now he boldly cleans up after those who boldly just went. So,
very cool.
And we'll make sure that if you get to the book level, we'll make sure that Drayton put some calligraphy in the front of it for you before we send it off. Okay.
Oh God! Now the pressure's really on.
If, however, you fail to hit the 30% mark, the 60% mark, 3 out of 5 questions. If you get less than 3 questions correct, we take your picture, we make a meme out of you based on one of your characters, and we place it into our Funny Science Fiction Facebook group. Do you agree to those terms?
As a loser.
As a loser, but yet still kind of a winner.
Absolutely. I'm in.
All right. Very good. Nick, take us away.
The 1986 Transformers film is considered a bridge between the 2nd and 3rd seasons of the TV show because A, several characters were killed or altered, B, it's between seasons 2 and 3, or C, it's just an industry term.
If it's considered a bridge, well, the question was, again, it's considered a bridge between 2 and 3.
Right, seasons 2 and 3 of the TV show because
several were killed and someone, okay. The second one was?
It's between seasons 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
or because it's just an industry term.
All of the above, actually, to be honest.
Technically, he's right, but yeah. So, according to IMDb, what they said the answer is A, that several characters were killed or altered.
Yeah.
But it's also
And I lived.
You did live. Your
Yeah.
character lived. Perceptor lives. But it was between seasons 2 and 3, and it's an industry term for bridging 2 seasons. Anyway, okay, but yeah, so you get that right.
Totally get that right. All right, number 2. The 1986 Transformers movie is set how many years after the end of season 2 of the TV show? A, 1, B, 10, or C, 20?
Oh my gosh. Isn't that terrible? I don't. War is happening, blah, 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 blah. I have no idea. I'm a wild guess. 10.
What if you doubled that?
Now you're making him do math? Oh my goodness. Come on, Tim. You're just being mean to our guests.
I am Perceptor. Perceptor can do math. Cursory evaluation of said question indicates the answer would be 20.
That is correct.
There you go. There you got 2. So you're on your own from here, Paul.
Oh, God.
Tim's done cheating now. Your turn, Nick.
Oh, yeah. Frank from Monsters, Inc. has how many eyes? Is it 4, 2, or 1?
1.
That is correct.
That is correct. You didn't even think about that one. All right.
That was me.
That was you.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'll keep an eye out for you.
There you go.
All right. Question number 4. Roy Campbell was a former U.S. Army colonel in command of a special forces group called A, Foxhounds, B, Hellhounds, or C, Wolfhounds.
Foxhound.
Correct.
And
I would be just ashamed if you got that one wrong.
Yeah, so would I. It's like right there.
Well, sir, you are 4 for 4. That gets you the book. So, as we like to say, this next question is just for funsies.
Max Tennyson from Ben 10 was Magistar rank in the IT squad, plumbers, or governor's office.
Ben, the plumbers.
Exactly.
Excellent.
5 for 5. Hey, you know a lot about this
I
guy,
was
Paul
4
Eiding.
for 5. Come on. I don't want to cheat. It was
Even
4
at-
for 5.
Okay, even at 4 for 5, you still get the book, you get the coffee
Yay.
mug, and we'll make sure that we get some writing put in the front of it for you.
And
okay?
you escape meme land.
You have escaped Meanland.
You can add me if you like. I'm
Well, with that being said, where's my
I'm
phone?
done with it.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
Although, if you had lost and gotten to meme land, you would be in very, very good company. Dan Povenmire is in meme land, the co-creator of Phineas and Ferb.
Cool.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for being on the show today. Where can listeners go to find out more about you and your works?
Oh, geez. I'm on Facebook. It's Paul Eiding. You look for my name. I'm on Twitter. It's for Paul Eiding. I'm also Instagram or my fan page, which I'm really horrible at keeping up. It's put together by a fan. Is Paul Eiding. I think it's pauleiding.com.
Okay.
And my page is paul-eiding.com. One thing I want everybody to look out for, I did a short film
Yeah, please.
that I'm so extremely proud of. It's going to be making the circuit, the festival circuit. And it's an homage to the guys who worked the Muppets over the years.
Ooh.
Oh, neat.
And it's it's one of the things that I'm most proud of. And I did it during the pandemic, so my beard is out to here. And they wanted it to really be big, so it grew and grew and grew. But it's called Frank and Emmett, and it's just me and a puppet.
Frank and Emmett. Okay.
Frank and Emmett. Yeah, watch for that because
Absolutely.
I'm really proud of it. It's only 12 minutes long, but it's just written and directed by the head of animation at DreamWorks. But it's live action.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Anything Muppets, and we're game.
It's a beautiful piece. I promise it'll make you cry.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh man, Muppets make me cry. Goodness.
Yeah.
You know, Paul, we are gonna make sure that we have all of your social media in our links, and we will also make sure that put the movie in the link too. We will figure out how to get that word out there for you.
All right. So want to remind you guys that subscribing is the single most important thing that you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests and stories for you to listen to, like Paul Eiding here. And this has been a fantastic chat with Paul. And so please subscribe. It's going to help more than we can ever really tell you. And you're going to want to make sure that you check out Paul's catalog of work as well. There are so many things that are on his IMDb list that we didn't even get to mention today in our time with him that you're going to be just amazed that he's been a part of. And as a reminder, if you're not happy with the content of our videos, all you have to do is submit in single form to the Autobots. Perceptor, in fact, one of Optimus Prime's trusted officers. And once Perceptor is done delivering the eulogy of Optimus Prime...
Too soon.
Yeah, probably.
I fear the wounds. Fatal.
He will handle your complaints in the order in which he perceives them to be important.
Thanks again, Paul. We truly appreciated having you today.
It's been my fun.
Awesome.
A lot of fun, folks.
Awesome. All right. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt crewman number 58. He'll know that when he puts on the red shirt, chooses to fight alongside the Incredibles, only to be sneezed on, he will be able to know that he didn't leave his family destitute and without hope. Because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has his back, and what's left of his handkerchief.
And speaking of sponsors and show partners, check out this short video from our good friends over at Level Up Lightsabers. Information about Level Up Lightsabers and their online training sessions can be found in the episode description below.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.